Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Keelana and this is Keelana's Mind because I'm out of it. Now, I don't really expect this channel to really get big or anything, but I figure, you know what, it's a hobby. I'm a mom and I need friends. I'm really weird. I say a lot of things. I say a lot of things, no duh. I don't know how to edit, so there's probably going to be some weird things that are going to be in here. But, oh well. And I'm probably going to have to self-bleep myself, which is probably going to happen quite often because I'm not used to bleeping myself. And there's a glare on my glasses, and y'all just going to have to deal with that. But today I wanted to talk about the danger of being a woman in today's society. And I am going to be telling the story, well, one of the stories of one of the attempts somebody tried to kidnap me. So, if you're interested in this, keep watching. Now, in today's day and age, yes, we have the Me Too movement, and we have all of these things going on that are supposed to help women be stronger and try and keep us safe. But I don't think we'll ever truly be safe until everybody starts realizing it starts with the men and some women who are not taught that they are not entitled to a woman's body. To the men and the women out there who think that they can have whatever they want and do whatever they want and take advantage of people. The first time somebody tried to kidnap me, I was 14 years old. 14. Now, I look young for my age now. I'm 30. Well, about to be 30. But apparently, I don't look that old. So, if I looked young for my age now, I definitely looked really young when I was 14. Oh, that was not a appealing look. It's staying in though. So I was at Universal Studios in Florida. I have nothing against the place. It is not their fault. It is unfortunately a man who was working there. And it was the first time I was allowed to walk around by myself because I had been there so many times. I knew the area really well. And so my mom was like, you know what to do. I trust you. Keep your phone on. Have fun. So I'm going. And if anybody's been to Universal, you know the talking fountain. The talking fountain over where Sinbad and Outlet is. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been there in a while, but that's where it was. And I love the talking fountain because there was usually like a smart ass behind it making all these funny comments and like picking on people and spraying the heck out of them. And I loved it. I love that sense of humor. Always have. Well, if anybody knows, there's a magic show, a free magic show right beside it. And I was like, you know what? I like magic. Why not? So I go in, and there's this man who is performing the magic show. I could tell he was quite a bit older than me, and I wasn't worried about it because it's a magic show, and I was just enjoying it. I didn't expect what happened after to happen. During the show, he starts making these comments like, oh, maybe if I pull this trick off, this little lady over here would like to go to lunch with me. Or if I've never been lucky enough to have such a beautiful lady in the audience. Talking about me. 14. You would think somebody would have spoken up and said, maybe you should stop going after somebody who is clearly underage. Maybe you should talk about a pretty woman who is clearly legal and use her. Not the underage. So, he does that the entire show. And I wasn't thinking anything of it because I was just like, whatever, it's a show. And I go to buy one of the products. I use a card and I have to sign my name. He gets my name off my receipt, runs out of the building screaming my name. And I'm confused because I'm like, who's calling for me? Who's calling for me? So I turn around, and there he is. And he comes up to me, and he was like, hey, I was so glad I got to you before you just took off. I really wanted to talk to you. And I was just like, oh, okay. Did I leave something? And he was like, oh, no, I couldn't help but keep my eyes on you during the show, and I really wanted to talk to you and get to know you. And I was just like, oh, okay. What do you want to know? And he was like, well, I was wondering if you'd want to go to lunch with me. And I looked at him and I was like, how old are you? And he said, there's a hair, there's a hair, there's a hair. He didn't say that, but bloop. He said, I'm as old as you want me to be. I'm as old as you want me to be. Now, if there are any younger girls out there listening, if a man ever says that, get away from him. Because the only people who say that are people who are too old to be doing what they're doing or way too young. Neither one of them is a good thing. Just a tip. So I looked at him and I was like, no. How old are you? And he said, does it really matter how old I am? And I said, yes, it matters. Because I'm 14. And that doesn't faze him a bit. You would think, but no. He just looks at me and he was just like, well, that age is just a number. It's just a number. No. And I said, no, I need to know your age because I'm 14 years old. And he was like, well, if you really need to know, I'm 35. 35. Talking to a 14-year-old girl that he met in a free magic show that he was doing. So, by this time, I didn't realize that he had grabbed my wrist. My arms are at my side, and he had somehow gotten a hold of my wrist while we were talking. And when I realized this, I was like, oh shit, this is bad. Well, I'm gonna get screwed for that S word, but oh well. It's like, oh crap, this is bad. And he starts caressing my other arm. And I was like, if I don't figure a way out of the situation fast, he could really hurt me. So I started thinking of what I could do, and I started going along with it so he didn't know anything was weird. And I, of course, have the hiccups now. And I was like, he ran out of that building really fast. I wonder if he went on break. So I looked and I was like, okay, sure. But don't you need to go on break? Like, don't you need to tell your boss that you're going to be leaving? And a light clicks. And he's just like, you're right, I do. Wait here. And he's so excited. He's so excited that I'm going to go to lunch with him. Takes off without a second thought. Goes in the building. The moment I see that he is fully inside, I take off. Now, anybody who knows Universal, it's very wide open. Even though there are a lot of people, I didn't want to risk him coming out while I was running and see that I was in a crowd and come after me. So I hid behind the nearest, biggest building I could find to where I knew that there was no way he could see me. And I called my brother. And I told him, there's this 35-year-old man who's wanting to take me somewhere. I'm scared. Please come walk me away. When I tell you, this man, the moment he came out and saw I wasn't there, started screaming my name for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And I know it was 10 minutes because that's how long my brother took to get there. He was still there when my brother arrived. My brother came. It took all of him not to beat the man. But I just needed him to get me away safely. And that was his main priority. So he took me by the hand and he walked me out. And the man's face, when he saw that I was walking away with my brother, he knew he messed up. he knew. He knew. He messed up. Sure enough, I called. I had my mom and me call Universal and get to the bottom of it and told him his name. Told him what happened. Come to find out, I wasn't the first girl. They didn't know about it, but when they did an investigation, apparently there was 5 others. Now, I'm not going to say what happened to the other girls out of respect. And because I don't know them personally, I never really got to meet anybody. So I'm only talking from my experience. But from what I was told, if I had gone with him, I probably would not be here. He was arrested. And it's terrifying that the only reason I thought of the way that I thought of to get away from him, and I knew that they wasn't okay to be in this situation, was because I watched Law & Order SVU. God, my camera is shaky. Please forgive me. The setup I have is... But my mom would let me watch Law & Order SVU. And I learned a lot. And I think she would do it kind of on purpose because she wanted me to be prepared. Because things happened to her when she was younger. And she didn't want me to go through it. And I'm so thankful that she did. Because even though I might have been too young to be seeing such graphic things or seeing the way the world is, it prepared me for when it happened. And I'm thankful for that. Because if we don't tell our girls that these things happen, if we don't prepare them, then they are going to be vulnerable to it. They are going to be victims because they don't know. Unfortunately, we can't tell every man, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, and get it through their head. But we can at least try with our girls and tell them to be prepared. Now, I do believe anybody who has a son, man or woman, if you have a son, you should tell them and teach them how to respect a woman and to respect men, to respect everybody. You do not have any entitlement to anybody's body. You do not have any entitlement to a woman or a man. It doesn't matter how they look, how they dress, what tattoos they have, etc. It doesn't matter. They're a human life, and they deserve the respect. Unfortunately, there are some really fricked up people. There are some messed up people out there, and you can't stop them. But we can prepare. And we can try to teach people better. I lost my train of thought. Oh, Law & Order SV. I'm very thankful that my mom would put it on and I would watch with her. Because it not only prepared me for that experience, but a lot of other experiences after. I'm 30 years old. Well, I'm almost 30 years old. And I've dealt with so many situations. So many. That if I'd messed up once, if I hadn't been prepared, I could have been really hurt. And unfortunately, there were times that I did get hurt. Because there's just some situations you can't stop. But I made it out alive. I made it out alive. That's what matters. I made it out alive. And I'm very thankful for that. This video got heavy. So, I think I'll just leave it off there. If you want to hear more of my weird stories, or you want to hear some weird things, you want to ask me questions, you want me to do something, let me know. Like I said, I don't really expect this to be big, but maybe I can make a few new friends. And maybe I can have a small little thing, you know? So, thanks for visiting Kilana's Mind. Bye, guys.